Let's go. I am back, and wow, how much I've missed you guys. Great to be here with you. So much news and information to go over. We're going to, of course, talk about where Bitcoin is, where the market is, what's going on with altcoins. We're going to get into some XRP news. We're going to talk about tariffs. We're going to talk about the economy. And man, this is like jam packed. I missed a few, I think I missed about 2 sessions because I was recovering, but I'm back and I'm feeling great. So it's great to see you. Let me say what's up to people in the chat. What's up, Free Speech? Great to see you. Austin's here. Great to see you, Austin. XRP Pilot. Good to see you, man. Have you seen my baseball? I have not seen your baseball, man. A Scarface. Nice to see you. And got a few other people. Aloha. Man, I can't even say your name. What is this name? I can't even say it. I don't even know. All right. Listen, guys, if you can if you are on Twitter, if you can share the space. If you are on YouTube, can you hit like? I really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get into the news. I've missed you guys so much. I must admit, it has been hard for me to sit at home and not wanted to jump into all of this stuff. So let's go ahead and oh shoot, hold on, pulled the wrong thing. Let me see here. It's so strange that I pulled that up. Oh, I can share multiple freaking what's it called? Oh, that's dope. Okay, so first. Of course, anytime you come to a Sensei chat, we like to talk about the market, what's going on, what to expect. And man, it's just so jam-packed. I'm going to get into all this. And then after, I'm going to find some time to answer your questions why we're doing this. But White House confirms that El Salvador President Nayib will meet with President Trump on Monday. Remember, El Salvador, I think, is like the one country that is behind Bitcoin. Let me play this.
But as you mentioned, President Bukele will be here at the White House on Monday to talk about the cooperation that is at an all-time high. And we very much appreciate President Bukele and El Salvador's cooperation and the repatriation of El Salvadorian gang members who the previous administration allowed to infiltrate our country.
Man, it must be tough for this lady to have a job because like every day things change. What she says, crazy. Co-founder of Cardano says Bitcoin could reach 250,000 this year. Let me show you.
No, I think Bitcoin will be over 250,000 by the end of this year or next year.
What's going to drive that?
What will happen is that the tariff stuff will be a dud, and then people will realize that the world is willing to negotiate, and it's really just U.S. versus China, and a lot of people will side with us, some people side with China. The markets will stabilize a little bit, and they'll get used to the new normal.
All right, there you go from Charles Hodgkinson. Let's keep it going here. We have White House says gold reserves can be used to purchase gold. I don't really think this is a fantastic idea, right? The whole point of a gold reserve is if something really, really bad happens, you have this to lay back on. I've seen the numbers as high as $600 billion of gold that the U.S. has. Selling gold to buy Bitcoin, just cringe. I don't know. They need to figure out something else here. I don't think selling U.S. reserves to buy Bitcoin is a smart idea, but that's just me. In Florida, they are allowing people, or if you work for the state of Florida, like if you're a teacher or if you're like a cop or some kind of state employee, you will soon be able to invest your retirement into Bitcoin. I thought this was really powerful. I played this in a video that I did, and just listen to the yeses, right? They're putting this bill up for vote in the Banking House Committee, right, in Florida. And listen to this.
I ask you to have the faith today, the faith to vote up on this very important bill, HB 487. You'll remember those numbers because it'll come back as the day when you stood tall for the great state of Florida and made the vote that put Florida in the leading edge of this very new technology in our state and throughout our nation. And for that, I close.
Thank you. Kimberly, would you please call the roll?
Here's the vote.
Yeager,
Yes.
Vice Chair Cassell.
Yes.
Ranking Democratic Member Chambliss.
Yes.
Representatives Alvarez,
Yes, ma'am.
Anderson,
Yes.
Booth,
Yes.
Botana,
Yes.
Caruso,
Yes.
Dunkley,
Yes.
Gonzalez Pittman,
Yes.
Hart. Yes. Henson,
Yes.
Jock,
Yes.
Kencart Johnson,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Steele,
Yes.
Valdez, Woodson.
Yes.
The bill passed.
Okay, so what I want to show you here, you see these empty seats here? I think there's some people that didn't want to vote yes for this, but they decided to maybe not show up to the hearing just because they don't want to have that on their record, right? That could be something later on that an opponent, when they're running for re-election, could attack them on not being crypto friendly. And we've all seen what happens when a party isn't crypto friendly. You know, you're going to get a repeat of 2024 if you keep going. Bitcoin breaking out of a downtrend back, going back to January up. And so people think that, you know, we've hit some support here. Bitcoin could be heading up. A lot of people believe that it's a final Bitcoin bullish breakout. Every time the liquidity index breaks out, a massive bull run follows. So I'm going to show you that in here in just a little bit. The M2 money supply. Oh, actually, I have it right here. Cool. M2 money supply is on the breakout. If you take a look here, it is surging. What this means is they are starting to do QE. They're putting money into the economy. They are printing money again. All right. I just thought this was kind of funny just to see what kind of people, you know, what people think here. There's some people believe that Bitcoin will hit $1 million in 2025. I just want to say, listen, I'm not against Bitcoin. I do think because it's so popular now, you know, among the mainstream, you know, senators and Congress people, and they're all pushing for Bitcoin because they're getting massive amounts of money from, you know, top Bitcoin holders. But like, I don't see $1 million Bitcoin over the next six months. Like it's just not going to happen. If we hit 250K, that would be an incredible feat. All right, you have former UK Prime Minister Liz Truss says Bitcoin takes power from governments, right? Remember, Christine Lagarde, who is the European Central Bank, you know, head, she said that the European Union will not be touching Bitcoin, right? That's 27 countries that are saying no to Bitcoin. Let me play this.
Obviously, this is a crowd of people who are kind of fans of this thing called Bitcoin. We've spoken about it ourselves. I think everyone in this room naturally thinks Bitcoin is a great tool because the government can't steal it, they can't control it, and they can't print it. Do you see Bitcoin as a tool for government?
I see it as a tool for taking power away from government. And that is why I fundamentally support it. In fact, when I was in the Treasury back in 2017, I wanted us to become a leading country for Bitcoin and crypto. But there was such huge resistance from the usual suspects at the Bank of England, at the FSA, et cetera, wherever it became the FCA. You know, there was huge resistance because the bureaucracy know perfectly well that it is an antidote to their power, which is why they hate it so much, and they do hate it. And this is also why central banks are trying to introduce CBDCs, because they want to control it, they want to have the control, they want to use it as a way of having more control over the population. And this is why it is such a good thing, in my opinion, that Bitcoin is doing well. I also am a supporter of the fact gold is doing well as.
All right, let's keep going. You have whales are now aggressively buying Bitcoin like never seen before. I'll show you the chart. Not going to get into it too much. We do have this gentleman here. Crypto exchanges don't have enough Bitcoin. I thought this was an interesting clip for you guys. Check us out.
The illiquid supply. So currently we are seeing the on-exchange balances of Bitcoin being the lowest, I think, going back to 2018. So this is like going back for many, many years now. The balances for Bitcoin on exchange have never been this low. And what that signals is that there's a lack of sellers on the market. So people will move from cold storage to exchange when they're ready to sell their Bitcoin. And if the exchanges are showing low balances, that means that we have few sellers in the market, and that will be come into play and become very interesting once there is a rise and the buyers come back into the market for Bitcoin. My prediction, and of course I don't have a crystal ball and I don't know, and this isn't investment advice, but my feeling is that when it does start to move back up again, it's going to jump. Because there simply aren't any sellers. And if people are bidding and trying to buy and there aren't sellers in the market, they're going to just keep, offering higher and higher prices to buy the Bitcoin that they want. And so I expect that it'll gap up quite significantly when it does start.
The hard part about this, right, is like Bitcoin is at 82 or 83,000, right? Let's say you think Bitcoin's going to go to 150,000, right? That is a 100% gain. If you think Bitcoin's going to go to 250, that is a 200% gain. Let me ask you a question now. If you had $10,000 to put into the market today, would you buy Bitcoin and try to get this 100% gain? Or would you buy something like XRP or AVAX or something like that that has a real shot at doing multiple 100%, even though XRP has already gone up a few 100% since its low in 2024. I just people are so focused on Bitcoin. I think they're missing a lot of other stuff. And it says altcoin season has officially started. As you can see, this person is saying Bitcoin dominance will start dropping, and that's when altcoin season will start. You also have altcoin season is so close. Here you go, Bitcoin season, altcoin season. When this line gets back up to, altcoin season, it is going to be on. Let's keep it going here. Nope, that's not what I want to show you. Okay, we need to talk about what the fudge is going on with tariffs, because I have been keeping up with all of this information, and let me tell you, this changes daily. It's crazy. All right, listen to this. This is from April 11th. So this is yesterday. So bear with me. It says Beijing increased U.S. tariffs imports to 125% on Friday, hitting back against Donald Trump decision to hike duties on Chinese goods, raising stakes in the trade war that threatens to upend global supply chains. U.S. markets churned as China's retaliation intensified, global economic turmoil unleashed by Trump's tariffs. One U.S. survey of consumers showed inflation fears have mounted to the highest since 1981. Recession risk is much, much higher now than it was a couple weeks ago, says Adam Hitz, global head of multi-assets at Jonas Henderson. Foreign leaders have puzzled over how to respond to the biggest disruption to world trade order in decades. Trump administration has stuck to its guns, touting discussions on a number of trade deals. Says it will justify its dramatic upheaval in policy. Tit for tat increases by U.S. and China stand to make goods between the two world's largest economies impossible. That commerce is north of $650 billion in 2024. The president made very clear when the United States purchased, it will punch back harder. So the crazy part about all of this is last time I 125%, 150%. If an iPhone that comes from China, that's $1,000 is going to cost you $2,400, right? There's just going to be some things that are just going to be priced out for a lot of people. And this is really going to just really hurt the industry. So Trump did put a 90-day pause on tariffs, and we're going to talk about that on the other countries. But stuff that might be more expensive for you here in the US and might be abroad: clothing, toys and video games, computer parts, smartphones, residential construction materials, which means housings is going to go up. We get a lot of steel from Canada and our neighbors. Aerospace parts. Boeing does a lot of business between Canada, Asia, and Mexico. Boeing, if the tariffs continue, Boeing might not be a company over the next year or two, because these tariffs would make their planes just millions and millions of dollars more expensive. And some of the parts go back and forth across the border, so that would be a tax every single time. Just some crazy stuff happening. You also have egg prices reach an all-time high, up 5.6 from last month. So we've never had egg prices this high in God, this goes back to 1980. Crazy. Let's see here. All right. This is some good news though. South Korea vows to escape tariffs through talks. So, part of what I've heard from Mr. Trump, President Trump, is that tariffs were a negotiation tool. He's kind of gone back and forth between a negotiation tool and this is just how it's going to be. The US wants to tariff everything so it can basically afford to pay U.S. taxes. And I did the math on this. I'm going to show you in just a second. It's actually over here. So it's going to be a little bit more than a second, but it's kind of crazy, man. I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, China-U.S. trade shrinks in global context. The new IMF visual reveals a stunning perspective. China-U.S. trade accounts for 2.5% of global imports in 2024 out of 24.3 trillion world trade. Combined U.S. imports from China and Chinese imports from the U.S. are now at just now at a sliver, highlighting how even the most high-profile economic duels are just a fraction of the global trade. Let's keep it going here. This is actually a business leader, very well known. Actually, this guy's got 1.7 million followers on Twitter, and he's a big Trump supporter. And I thought this was interesting that he posted this, and I wanted to just talk to you about it. He says, "Our stock market is down, bond yields are up, and the dollar is declining. These are not markets of successful policy. I am receiving an increasing number of emails and texts from small business people I do business or with or have invested in, expressing fear that they will not be able to pass on their increased cost to their customers and will suffer severely negative consequences." Remember, if a business is having to pay more for goods, they are going to have to charge more for those goods, because if not, they're going to lose money. And, if you have run a business or you know anything about a business, if you keep losing money, you won't be a business very long, right? There's only so much money you can go borrow and try to kick the can down the road, and then you're going to be in a ton of debt, and your company would collapse. Despite our efforts to mitigate risk, the new tariffs have immediate and significant negative implications on our cost structure and have potential to compress our gross margin by 60%. So what you're having here is U.S. businesses saying they are not looking good with the tariffs. They don't think they're going to be able to pass on the money, the higher money, to the customers. And it does look like a lot of businesses in the US could close from this, which is, I don't know, is that the goal? 50% increase in cost of glass bottles, 26% increase in cost of chai sourced from India, 10% cost of coffee sourced from Ethiopia, Peru, and Canada. These new coffee and glass bottle tariffs alone will add an estimated $1.53 of COGS unit for our 32-ounce, reducing our gross profit by nearly 60%. I don't need to read the rest of this, but I think you really get the picture. This is somebody that really supports Donald Trump, and they're kind of expressing their concern about the economy and their business. So we know Trump did a 90-day pause. I do think the 10% is still in place, though, on all across the board. Let me keep going here. So we do know that U.S. and China have been going back and forth. I don't need to reread this to you. Here is something that I don't know. This is saying that Chinese people are creating AI-generated videos of mocking Americans with the tariff war. I want to play this. I got to turn off the music, though. Sorry. Fuck. I don't know, man. This is getting crazy. All right, let's keep it going here. Let me just check the chat. Let's check it. Let's check the chat. How you guys doing? America. Okay, let's take a look here. Gravity says you have to take off your investor hat long enough to understand the importance of the tariffs. Don't care what companies or trading experts say. Tariffs are short-term. Settle down. Okay. I guess you're not watching the same news as the rest of us, but let's keep it going here. You think that, let's keep talking. So you think what's happening right now is a good thing for America. I think what's happening now is going to destroy America's economy. And it's not just me. Let me show you some actual facts here. And then we can actually talk about this. Okay. So U.S. small business optimism is fading. The NFIB Small Business Optimism Index fell 3.4 points to 97.4, the lowest since October. It marks the third consecutive monthly decline. The net percent of owners expecting better business conditions tumbled 16 points to 21%, posting the largest monthly drop since December 2020. Remember, that is COVID. All right, the share of firms expecting higher sales dropped 11 points to 3%, the lowest since October. Small business outlook is deteriorating. All right, let's take a look here. Convinced Trump to delay tariffs by 90 days, made the Fed ready to stabilize markets if needed, which means they will lower rates and print money. This is the similar situation that we found ourselves during COVID when, trillions of dollars were created. I think you all lived through what happened, during the Biden administration. That inflation was caused by supply chain disruptions and, of course, higher prices and, of course, inflation. Made Trump ready to have a phone call with Xi. They have not had a call yet that I've seen. Become one of Secretary Bessett's top priorities. and unwound the $800 billion trade basis. You also have retail investors saw the most active stock buyers on Wednesday. Individual investors bought a whopping $3.3 billion in U.S. equities the first 4.5 hours of Wednesday's trading session, the third largest on record. In just 2 days, retail traders purchased $6 billion for the stocks, according to JP Morgan. This comes after they sold a record amount of equities on Friday and Monday. So the market is going up and then it's going down. Breaking, Trump basically says we are doing really well with our tariff policy. We're expecting for America and the world, it will be moving quickly. You also have inflation dropped to 2.7%. Remember, this is not something that you can, say that inflation is, the goal here was to get inflation to 2%. Okay. It's March PPI has fallen to 2.7. But remember, all of the tariff stuff happened in April. The effect of that has not reached these numbers yet. So take that into perspective. Core PPI inflation falls to 3.3%. Below expectations at 3.6%. We just saw the first month-over-month decline in PPI inflation, down 0.04 since March 2024. Both CPI and PPI inflation are down sharply. I expect when I talk to you about this next month and the month after that this will rise significantly. Let's see what happens. Here is what the dollar looks like on a chart. That doesn't look good. All right. And then here you have, this is what gold looks like. Uh-oh. What was that? Do I too much open? Am I still here? I'm still here. Cool. All right, let's keep it going. I wanted to show you this. Bonds, another 20 basis points move on the 10-year note yield today puts us 100 basis points above the Fed pivot began, where the Fed pivot began. Remember, 10-year notes is kind of what is based off of, loans and based off of mortgages and all kinds of stuff. This is really, really important. You know how important the bond market is. Here's some updated information about that. Here's a real question. Who gets up first, President Trump, China, or the bond market? At this rate, the 10-year note will break 5% in a week. Inevitably, one of these three factors has to give up very soon. This is unsustainable, which cracks first. And so I wanted to better understand, what happens if the bond market were to collapse or have some serious issues. Here's what would happen just so we can be better prepared just in case. Rapid decline in bond prices. A collapse begins with a sharp sell-off in bonds, causing prices to plummet and yields to surge. Both yields move inversely to prices. So as investors sell bonds, borrowing costs will rise significantly. Rising borrowing costs, higher yields make borrowing more expensive for governments, businesses, and consumers. This impacts loans such as mortgages, credit cards, and corporate debt, potentially leading to a reduced investment in consumer spending. Liquidity crisis. A sell-off can disrupt liquidity in financial markets, making it harder for institutions to trade or refinance debt. The U.S. has to refinance $9 trillion this year. And as these bond prices or these yields rise, it becomes more expensive to service the debt. It's actually doing the complete opposite of what Trump wants. He wants rates to come down so he can, reservice that debt at not a high price. The U.S. is going to pay over $1 trillion worth of interest every single year because of these high yields. Okay. Global financial instability. Since government bonds, U.S. treasuries are considered a safe haven asset and a form of the backbone of the global financial system, their collapse could destabilize global credit markets. Credit crunch. If institutions hoard cash due to uncertainty, lending freezes may occur, exacerbating economic contraction. Central banks may have to intervene by purchasing bonds and lowering interest rates to stabilize the market. I would imagine this is what's going to come next. Impact on retirement portfolios. You already know what's happening. You've looked at your retirement portfolio. I don't need to tell you how bad it is. What would this look like? I wanted to better understand what it would look like. Surging yields, stimulus stock and bond declines, which we are seeing, volatility across markets, economic policy reactions, investor panic, historic parallels. And then I said, what would happen if the U.S. economy and the bond market collapse? I think this is kind of more of what we just talked about. I kind of just said the same thing twice. I was just trying to see if I could get some different answers. I also wanted to say this: Federal Reserve officials are prepared to hold their policy rate steady. So you have the Fed not blinking a bit here, holding their ground. It is going to be interesting to see kind of what happens and how this all plays out. Will the Fed pivot to accommodate stance far before Trump caves? Elevated inflation expectations will decline with oil and will be overwhelmed by recession fears. But if the goal is China decoupling, then even bigger cut rates may not be enough. You also have U.S. consumer confidence is at a 45-year low. 45-year low. For 45 years. That is fucking crazy. And here you go. Here you go. Starting with Trump. Listen to this.
Talking about a lot of different things. Consumer prices have actually dropped. There's very little inflation. Everybody predicted a lot of inflation, very little inflation. Energy costs are down. Interest rates are probably down. They scatter, but they're probably down.
Interest rates are not down. They're the exact same.
Prescription drug prices are even to down. We're doing very well. It's been amazing. We had a big day yesterday. There'll always be transition difficulty, but we had in history, it was the biggest day in history, the markets. So we're very, very happy with the way the country's running. We're trying to get the world to treat us years ago, and it wasn't. But no president was willing to take it on, but you had to. It's not sustainable. It wasn't sustainable. And as you know, without a lot of money being added, which is a lot of money that we could add, the country is making approximately $2 billion a day.
So with the tariffs, the country is making $2 billion a day. Okay. Let's just do this. 2 times 365, $730 billion a year. Okay. The plan here, if you're not familiar with the plan, let me show you here. All right, here is this. This is the plan. Let me play it for you and let me show you some actual facts and information behind what he's saying.
America is going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. Do you know the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of last week. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Is that
okay? A few things. He brought up McKinley in 1913. I want to show you what the GDP was in the United States in 1913. $39 billion was the GDP. Okay. You are not dealing with the same economy, right? You cannot have the mindset that, hey, this worked back in 1913. I want to use it today. You have a total different economy, right? $4.92 trillion is how much the US takes in every year from IRS, right? The current GDP of the United States is 28.63 trillion. I also want to show you what happened after the McKinley tariff impact. So Trump keeps talking about how great tariffs were for the United States. He fails to mention this part, okay? So let me show you this. The tariff immediate effects were mixed. It spurred growth in some protected industries like tin plate manufacturing, but also raised prices for consumers and sparked a political backlash, contributing to a downtrend in the U.S. economy and helping to destabilize the political landscape of the 1890s. Additionally, the tariff implementation was followed by a financial crisis. Tell me it's good again. Tell me how good it is. Seriously. Tell me how good it is. I really want to better understand that. Like $12 trillion was lost in like 10 days. It is the biggest loss in history. So, it is not all rainbows and butterflies out here, and it's a little frustrating. People think this is all some big plan. I think it's not a plan. I think personally that Trump is going day to day and reacting to people's reactions. Yes, the US is going to get some better deals on trade, but overall, is this going to impact? Is it going to be good for Americans? I also want to show you this document here, right? Because the goal here is to pay off, to eliminate income tax. So you're trying to eliminate $4.9 trillion. Okay, that's how much you would need to take in on tariffs to have a balanced budget. The US keeps spending more than that. That's why we have a deficit. But let me show you what it would cost Americans to do this. Tax Foundation estimates a 10% universal tariff would raise 2.2 trillion in 2025. A 20% universal tariff would raise 3.4 trillion. You would need a 30 to a 35% tariff across the board on everything to make up enough money to pay off income tax. And it's crazy that I could figure this out with Google searches, but nobody in Trump's orbit is letting him know these details, right? Because you're not going to get there without disrupting the entire US economy. I am talking there, I don't know, man. People just are beyond me sometimes. Let's talk about some XRP stuff, man. This tariff stuff just pisses me off. Unlocking more XRP utility. Oh my goodness, the rest of 2025 is going to be something. Firelight fee or whatever. Firelight finance? Firelight unlocking XRP opportunities. Okay, let's take a look at this. We'll go back to this. Hold on one second. Ever wondered what you could do with your XRP? A lot more than you think. It looks like there's some more utility coming for XRP, which is going to be good for its holders. This is a decent post. Let me play this. All right. If you don't know about Hidden Road, guys, it is a $1.25 billion acquisition. Hidden Road basically is plumbing for institutional finance. They are a prime broker. They do $10 billion a day in transactions, $3.65 trillion a year. The plan is going to be to use XRP, of course, for the transaction and the gas, mostly to use RLUSD to move some of this value. I've heard from Brad. I've heard from David Schwartz. And this is a clip from Monica Long talking about all this. Let me play it. No sound on the clip. Hold on. Should say no sound on the clip. Low volume. What? No sound. Okay, hold on. I have to end the stream. Fuck. Hold on. Am I there? Can you hear me? I try to redo it. You can hear me now? Okay, cool. All right. Listen, guys, I know change is scary, right? But like, COVID was something like I get that some things in life are not fair, right? I totally understand that. I would, if I could change things tomorrow, if I had the power to do that, I would. Now, my question is this: was there another way, right? Did you need to crash $12 trillion of people's retirement money? Like, I just don't get that part, right? Like, if there's a big master plan, like they've sat down at a table, they thought out all of this. Why is, like, every day when Trump is asked about, his decision for tariffs, why does he always have a different answer? Like, I'm not trying to shit on Trump here. I'm just trying to shit on the decision making, right? I get it. I love what Trump's doing for crypto, but I hate what he's doing with the economy. All right. That's my opinion. I don't really listen. There's, 1,000 of you in the chat. 500 of you are going to agree with me. 500 of you are going to say I'm stupid. I don't, it is what it is. All right. This is, I've been very accurate in calling what's going to happen in the economy over the last 3 years in these chats. All right. You can ask somebody that's been in these chats for 3 years about how I've been able to very accurately call what's about to happen. Okay. Now, if this continues, right, there's a 90-day pause. Let me tell you what this does to businesses, right? The US is one of the best places for companies to come and invest. Okay. When you start putting random numbers of tariffs on countries that don't even make sense, right? If you watch the information on how they came up with the tariffs for each country, it's basically nonsense. It doesn't make any sense, right? And everything that we take in is going to be more expensive. We, the consumer, are going to pay for this. I've already seen higher prices on stuff I buy at Costco. Already $3 more, $6 more. I spent $600 at Costco last weekend. I was like, well, I've never spent $600 at Costco. So, how much pain are we willing to take? That is the question, right? And the economy doesn't start or slow down on a dime. It is a slow crash or it is a slow uptrend. If the economy gets to a certain point, there will be nothing anybody can do about it. That is what I'm concerned about. All right. That is what you should be concerned about. All right. Whew, I can get emotional. Just had surgery, kind of coming off some, but just fired me up sometimes with some of these comments. All right. It's fair enough. Calm down. Where's Luna? Might need Luna over here. All right.
Massive news, Monica. What is it?
Yeah, that's an exciting build-up. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Arjun, and thanks for having me here. So I'm very excited. I think just a few minutes ago, our announcement crossed the wire. So I'm really excited to share with you a deal we've been working on for some time. So Ripple is acquiring Hidden Road, which is a prime broker. They're a very high-growth prime broker, one of the largest as the non-bank prime brokers, and this is a big deal. It's $1.225 billion.
What does it mean?
Thank you.
What does it mean for Ripple's business? Because you've been on a path to really diversify the business beyond kind of how you started in payments, and there's custody, stable coins now, and so what does this add to the Ripple business?
All coming together. So we've talked for a long while about institutional decentralized finance. Many of us here talk about institutions coming into the world of blockchain and DeFi, and this is going to blast that into a new milestone, kind of a new stratosphere. So the idea here is Hidden Road, through its prime broker business, is able to supercharge a lot of what we do. So using Ripple USD, the stable coin, as collateral for all of its prime brokerage services, as well as using XRP Ledger for a lot of its post-trade services. And of course, we've actually known Hidden Road for years because we've been a client of theirs on the payment side to provide FX and those services to payments. So there's many good synergistic opportunities.
All right, let's keep going. There's another clip of Monica Long, the same interview. She is talking about how XRP will be used in this and how RLUSD will be used. It's hard not to play both these clips back to back.
We've always been believers in a multi-chain, multi-token future. And so we think that different tokens and different chains, for that matter, are useful at different times for different use cases. Let's take XRP first. XRP is the native asset to the public blockchain, the XRP Ledger. So inherently it has a use case in terms of gas fees, as well as for reserve accounts. So that will always be there, and the more that the ledger is used by more developers, more end users, you see demand for that token going up. In addition, a really novel thing about XRP was, as the ledger was created, it had a decentralized exchange built into it. And so trades within that decentralized exchange that don't have immediate liquidity between them auto-bridge through XRP. So this is where we've talked about it as a real bridge asset. And even beyond the Ripple payments use cases, so within our payments product, by the way, we still do use XRP as well as stablecoins, and it kind of depends on the customer's use case and what's most efficient. I will say, yes, we see a lot of growth within stablecoins for our payments product this year. But as more types of developers build products, either within the XRP Ledger ecosystem or other chains, this DEX feature and using XRP for liquidity will be a bigger and bigger use case.
All right, let's keep going. We played this crap already. Let me play this. Oh, I wanted to show you this, right? I've been talking on my channel recently about Ripple using their technology for banks. I made a video not too long ago. I don't know if you saw it, but I went through, I wanted to better understand why banks would choose to work with a company like Ripple or Circle over creating their own blockchain or their own technology. And it really uncovered a lot of interesting information. If you watch that video, you're going to know what I'm talking about. I'll try to give you the best context I can. But when you're trying to launch a stablecoin, right, if you're trying to do it yourself, like think about this, you're a bank. You don't really, your job is to, get customers, get money, do loans, blah, blah, blah. But your job isn't to run a tech company, right? And when you want to create your own stablecoin and your own blockchain, you are going to need to bring in an entire team of developers. Okay. So the average build time on something like this could be anywhere from like 3 to 6 months. If it's really complicated, it obviously could take, 12 months or longer. I've seen projects that have been working on their, on their technology since 2021 or 2022 that still haven't launched yet. So it is a big hill and a big pill to swallow if banks are going to try to create their own type of stablecoin, right? You have to create it, you have to have the team, you have to have it audited, and then you have to put it out into the market and get customers, right? Because if it's only you that is using it, it is a siloed system. It is not connected to the rest of the blockchain world. All right. Making all of those connections and keeping a staff on full time to make sure nothing happens. The whole thing with banks is how can we de-risk? I think that is the number one thing a bank will ask is what can we do to eliminate risk? And if you're taking on your own blockchain, if anything should happen to that, imagine what it could do to the name brand of your bank. That is why a lot of these banks are going to choose to work with a company like Ripple. And so when you start to look at Ripple starting to hire a product marketing lead stablecoin position, you start to wonder. Everything starts to tick in your brain and you're like, okay. So, we've been talking about this for quite some time. Even before RLUSD came out, I told you, I explained to you that I believed that Ripple is going to sell, or I don't know how they're going to do it. I'd love to speak with somebody at Ripple about this, but I would imagine a bank or a customer that they have will come to them and say, hey, we want to create a stable coin on the XRP ledger. It's already hooked up to everything. We've already tested it. We're already working with you. We know that compliance is the number one thing you care about, and that's the thing that we care about too. We definitely want to de-risk. And then Ripple will say, hey, this is XYZ a month. And then they will build you, a stable coin with their technology. And if you actually take a look around, this has actually already happened, right? February 20th, 2025. Ripple and Brazilian bank joined forces to launch XRP Ledger stablecoin, right? So it's not crazy. It's actually starting to happen. What happens when you get 5 banks, 10 banks, 20 banks, using a stablecoin on the XRP Ledger? They bring their value from, their digital world to the blockchain world. And that value, if it should live on the XRP Ledger, would be extremely valuable. And the reason also, remember, RLUSD is XRP and Ethereum, right? You can use it on both. It's even better. It's even better for banks and financial institutions because a lot of money in crypto, a lot of liquidity is locked up and inside of the Ethereum system. Anyways, I kind of went on a rant there. Oh, this is good. This is good. This is really good. I played this in a video I did earlier today, which will come out tomorrow. This was the first XRP ETF that got approved, kind of behind the scenes. And it was, well, here, I'll just let this guy tell you.
Right in here. You did just launch the first XRP ETF in the US. I'm just curious, how did day one go? I know there's still a little bit of time until market close here as we record this, but what have you seen thus far?
A terrific response. There was overwhelming excitement. I think a lot because we were overlooked. I mean, we made our filing and it was largely ignored. We were the only people to file with a ticker, and for whatever reason, it just was passed over, and it kind of took people by surprise. We filed as soon as we could after the old SEC regime left, and the 75 days. Effectiveness took place on Saturday, so we seeded yesterday, which was Monday, and launched today. I think it's almost a couple 100,000 shares. It's been a terrific, very successful launch. Our most successful launch day to date for any fund we've ever done.
Our most successful day-to-day launch that we've ever done. Right? You better believe that BlackRock and all of these bigger institutions are looking at this. Right? If this kind of smaller bank. I really don't know what this. I've never even actually heard of Tcrium, but it's interesting, right? And you are seeing that in the chart, right? A lot of the market is kind of trading down or sideways, but XRP is up a few percent. Imagine what happens when all 25 or whatever ETFs are approved, right? It'll bring some liquidity in. It'll be really good for the ecosystem. You know what? I'm about going through this stuff. I might just come and answer some of your questions. Paul Atkins is now officially the SEC chair. You know what? I won't even play that. No. All right. What's your questions? Sensei Crunch channel has a donation. Oh shoot. I'm sorry. I was kind of in the zone there. Kathleen. Thank you so much, Kathleen. Love you for that. Appreciate you. How are you been, Kathleen? You doing okay? I haven't talked to you in a while. I hope you're well. Let me see here. I got to go up and find this thing. Oh, it started. Hold on. Oh, that's baller. Okay, here. Let me see this. Crunch. Thank you for the $4.99. All money donated to the channel goes to my dog Luna. We buy her these really, what is it like? Vegetarian treats? No, not vegetarian treats. What's the wrong word? Like healthy? I don't know. I'm looking for the word. It's not coming. So let's just get to the question. Welcome back. Hope you're recovering well. How much of XRP's success relies on other countries and other financial institutions? So, great question. XRP's success is going to come down to probably Ripple. There's a lot of really incredible things starting to be built on the XRP ledger, but let's be honest. When Ripple was going through the lawsuit, the XRP ledger was kind of dead with people building on it, and it's just now coming back to life. So, is there a company other than Ripple that could start to add value? I mean, if you look at Axelar or ArcX, ArcX CEO believes they can do 30 to 50 trillion in processing on the XRP ledger over the next few years. I think that is an aggressive goal, but I like to see people with that type of mindset, right? If you put your mindset as we're going to move 5 billion, that is what your goal is. If your goal is to move 30 trillion, well, that's a big goal. So, Ripple has been the conduit, right? No matter what anyone says, without Ripple, the XRP ledger wouldn't probably be where it is today. Personal opinion, right? I know a lot of people might have other opinions, but Ripple has developed all of this technology, and banks are interested in using that technology. And that technology, most of it uses XRP, right? You can use, Ripple's messaging system and not use XRP. But I mean, there's just so many more advantages by using XRP. Banks can save 90, 95%, instantaneous transfers. The question is going to be is like, how quickly will this happen? Like bank adoption. You're getting crypto custody coming in. You're getting, Ripple has the custody services. You're having Scott Bessent, who is the Treasurer of the United States, saying stablecoins are the most important, piece. And let's be honest, Ripple has one of the, more regulated stablecoins that are on the market, and they are cruising, right? They are actually doing better than their Q1 projections. And they just had a huge day the other day, like 50 million, created in one day. And so, I think people are overlooking stablecoins and how that is going to really rise on the XRP ledger. So it's not just, it might not just be down to one company anymore, but it has been one company for a very long time. I hope that was helpful, man. Let's see here. Dental treats? No, they're like, hey, what's up, Curtis? Good to see you, man. They're like, you know what? Let's find out. NAU dog. All right, let me see here. So if you're wondering where I shop, here you go. Nuo dog. Let's see. Do they have a website? Boom. Gourmet dog treats. No, but it's like healthy dog treats. Yeah, like grass-fed beef jerky, this type of stuff. Luna loves this. Banana cookies. Oh my god, she goes crazy. This is her favorite here. But then they have like all of these really, it's like better. It's better than going to the regular pet store and buying all this stuff with, all these additives and stuff like that. It's just clean food for her. And then, like, if you're wondering who I'm talking about, let me just show you here. There you go. There you go. That is my work partner there. That is my love. All right, let me get back to your questions. Sorry, get carried away sometimes with Luna. She's my world there. I have lost the friggin' thing, dude. Hold on. There it is. Okay. I had lost where the chat was. All right, let me see if I can read some of this. Are all banks in Japan using XRP yet? No, Dave. No. And all banks in Japan are not going to use XRP. I think that is a misconception in the XRP community. I did a video actually on this. It says 80% of banks in Japan are ready to use XRP in 2025. I know that there's been some tests and consortium and all of this. I think a lot of people believe that Japan has like tens of thousands of banks. They actually don't. It's actually a few hundred. I think it's like 200 banks. You know what? Let's go to Perplexity. I love Perplexity. It gives me all the information I want. So how many banks are there in Japan? Let's see. I looked at this data like a little bit ago. So you have 5 major banks. Oh, here you go. Approximately 200 banks. Damn, my memory is good. Look at that. I am on it, man. 200 banks. There you go. So I've seen consortiums with 50 to 60 banks. I think that's happened a few times. I think Japan is more financially ready. The problem with Japan, in my personal opinion, is Japan is a very big cash society. You wouldn't think that, but they use cash a lot. And what is that going to look like? Customers using, maybe their debit cards that use XRP. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to kind of get to the bottom of when that actually happens. And I promise I will keep you up to date, man. Google Eyes says, I watch every single video. I really do. Hey, thank you so much, Google Eyes. I really appreciate that. Sometimes my passion can spill over, but you got to take the good with the bad with me. All right. I appreciate you. I love you. Sensei, if the ETF's inflows of 8 billion happens, is that 8 billion per ETF approved or for all of them? Okay, hold on. Sensei, if the ETF's inflows of 8 billion happens, is that 8 billion per ETF approved? So no. Okay, so okay. I think we're getting this little mixed up here. Okay, so there are, I think, 11 institutions, 11 or 12 now, that have filed for an ETF, an electronically traded fund, right? I think they've been around since 91 or 93 when they made their debut. Very, very popular with stock investors. I think it's like one of the most popular things to invest in because you can get a basket of different things, right? And so, when all of these get approved, and let's say $1 billion in hard cash comes in, right? That could move the price dramatically because of the multiplier effect. And I've done a few videos on this. And if you're not familiar with what the multiplier effect is, if you go on here, let me give you this context. I want you to do this in your spare time if you can, if you're interested in this, right? I just find this so interesting to dig into. Let me see here. I just got to remember what I searched. XRP inflows 24 hours. Here we go. Boom. All right. I should get some data here. I just got to look for it. Here we go. All right. So this is what I wanted to show you. Massive 1 hour XRP net inflows of 41.58 million. Okay. That $41 million raised the market cap 19 billion. Okay. So that is the multiplier effect. Okay. Let's see what I think this is a 200%. Let me see here. Hold on. Let me put this in here. How much? Oh God. I got it. What is the multiplier effect? Oh shit. What is the multiplier effect on this? Let me see if I could. I can't remember. Like I did this a month or two ago, and I can't remember exactly what I typed. You have to type something really exact to get it. But let me see if it comes up with it. Let's see. No, I didn't ask the right thing. Given the data alongside net inflows, XRP 20 cents. Okay, hold on. No. Oh, is it approximately the price is approximately 1,086? No, hold on. Let me see. Hold on. I am trying to understand what the multiplier effect would be on this. 41 point. You got to spell it out. Sorry, I remember. 41.58 million is equal to 19 billion. All right, let's see if we can get it there. There you go. Now it understands what I'm asking. There you go. Multiplier effect of 476. Now, some of these are very difficult to like. I think the average multiplier you see when I keep doing this is somewhere between 50 and 200. So, even if we use like 50, and this can change, obviously, as more money comes into the ecosystem, you might not have as big of an impact. But let me tell you, a few $1 billion in inflows in the XRP ledger, you're going to see a huge price jump. I think like if we could get a 50x multiplier on the actual money, and you get like $10 billion, I mean, that's a lot of cheddar, a lot of money. We'll have to see how it works. What would be that? That'd be $500 billion market cap, give or take. I mean, shit, you'd be past Ethereum. All right, let me get back to this. I got distracted. Would I like to take on the Rothschilds? No, Mr. Biggums. I'm not really into the conspiracy stuff. I really just want to understand like facts around crypto, and so I can better drill down on those specifics. But I appreciate you asking, man. What's up, Lloyd? Greenies. Yes, she likes greenies too, man. Thank you. Luna snacks better than me, bro. Let me tell you, Luna eats more than me sometimes. Like I forget to eat, and like my wife gets really mad when I forget to eat. I get to work and I just stop. Let's see, Crypto Sensei. What did I get timed out? What for being honest and respectful yet still time out is a joke? I didn't time you out. Ariana, did you time out? Oh, you were insulting? That's why you got timed out, man. That's kind of rude, but all good. Yeah, guys, you can come on here. Like, I don't mind, sitting here answering your questions and spending some of my personal time with you. But like, if you start kind of treating me like shit or saying something negative, really negative about me, we'll put you on timeout. If it's really bad, we'll just ban you from the channel. Like, you're one person in a sea of 85,000. If you want to be the negative person, I don't mind removing you. Like, it's like I'll sleep better at night having less stress, because if I can read 10 good comments and I can read one bad comment, and sometimes that bad comment will stick with me, and it's just a little frustrating for me. So appreciate you though. Ed Torres says, have you heard of Velo Labs? They are XRP of Asia. Yes, I've heard of Velo. They are making a lot of really good connections. We actually got into Velo, and it did like I think. Let's take a look here, man. I know we were talking about Velo. God, I don't even know. You know who's talking about Velo? It was what's his name? God, who does the charts? Keith. Keith was talking about Velo, and then JP started talking about Velo. Anyways, we were talking about Velo kind of back in this channel, and then a lot of us sold Velo kind of in this area because the market kind of went back down, right? This was back in early January, right? Right before Trump took office. This is right before Trump took office, 115. He took office on 120. And as you know, the rest of the market did this as well. So it's not just that. Anyways, Velo is a good asset, I think, in my personal opinion. And then Google Eyes, she might have just made a mistake too. I don't know. Well, I don't want to go back and forth. Listen, if you were put on timeout accidentally, sorry, nobody's perfect. Let's get over it. Let's just move on. Velo is a good token. See, Kathleen likes Velo. Kathleen's smart. I really like Kathleen. Let's see here. I'm in a dilemma. I made some extra gains off XCN. Why are people buying XCN, man? No, not even going to talk about XCN, dude. Not even going to talk about XCN. Hold on. I am unsure to add more XRP, Axlar, or Ondo. I think all three of those are good. XCN, I don't understand why people keep buying XCN. Hasn't it rug twice? We talked about this in a chat 2 months ago. People need to be careful with some of this stuff in crypto. It's really, really risky. A lot of prophets have been saying that 5 cryptos will skyrocket and then all the rest will go to 0. I believe that strong regulation will happen and only utility tokens will survive. So Gaston, what you're saying has some truth to it. I think there's a lot of, if you look out in the crypto industry before the meme coin boom, there were still 20,000 tokens. Now there's millions, but 99% of it's garbage, has no use case. It has no customer base. This is the problem that most people have in crypto. There's something that they don't understand. Okay. When a new crypto project is launched, unless that is something that is multi-billion-dollar project that has backing from just incredible people and money, to survive years. If you're investing in a new DeFi project, they have no customers. They have no money coming in. Okay. You need to take a look at their business plan, how they're going to make money, how they're going to survive a bear market. Let me tell you, in 2021, I invested in a lot of different tokens. Going in from 2021 to 2025, XRP is still here, AVAX is still here, Chainlink is still here, but all those DeFi projects, I don't even think 1 or 2 of them survived, to be quite frank with you. So understand that DeFi doesn't last forever, especially these projects that don't have customers. Just got to be very, very careful. I learned the hard way sometimes, and lost some money. Why do people keep asking me about the Rothschilds? I don't know who the Rothschilds are, man. I know who they are. I just don't want to touch it. I really don't want to touch it. What's up, Johnny from North Carolina? Good to see you, man. Price prediction? I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. It all depends on how much money goes into the ETFs and how quickly the US can fast track regulation. Impossible to guess. And it would just be a guess. It'd have, I research XRP every day and I couldn't tell you. I don't think anybody can tell you. And if anyone says it's going to be this, they're probably wrong. My son's my son likes greenies. I'm always taking his finger out of his nose. What the hell is going on here? No, we got our dog right during COVID. She's 5 now. So we got her in 2020 and had nothing to do with Luna. I wasn't invested in Luna. Luna actually cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars, unfortunately, but I wasn't invested in Terra Luna, but it collapsed the rest of the market. And I was actually on vacation. I was in the middle of the ocean when Terra Luna collapsed. I had no internet because we didn't have Starlink at that time. And so I found out the next day. And by then I couldn't do anything about it. Oh God. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about? Did we figure that out? All is one. What's up? How are you doing? Good to see you. Nick, what's up, dude? Good to see you, Nick. I feel like XCN comments are from the bots. I bet you they are, dude. I'm just not gonna respond to them. I'm just not gonna respond to them. Good to see you, Steve. XCN is up 230%. Hold on, dude. Oh God. It's probably a scam. Oh, okay. If you're talking about JP Morgan's coin, is this what we're talking about? No, you're talking about probably a scam token that's on the deck screener. Hold on. XCN. Yeah. This is it, right? It has a $670 million market cap with a 1.9 million liquidity. Something looks strange here. And this is not up hundreds of a percent. I don't know which token you guys are talking about. Oh, okay. So this one on a ride. This went up. Hold on. It has a Twitter. Let's see what the Twitter is. It's a copy. This is a scam, dude. This is a scam. I don't know why you guys are buying a scam. It's a scam. No posts. It's a scam. Ay. It's up 230%, but good luck taking your money out, right? I think we've all been there. Let's see here. Rodney says, aloha, brother Robert, brother Sensei. Sorry. I'm glad to see you up and running, doing well after surgery. I am. It was hard for me to lay in bed for like 4 or 5 days. You know, I'm on crutches too, but I haven't been using them. So, but I can like limp walk now. So, you know, it's good. They fixed the tear in my left hip, and then they took care of some arthritis I had. So, you know, maybe I'll be like a, 20-year-old on my left side. Right side still messed up. You know, probably need a hip replacement, but all good. I'm doing well. Thank you so much. How much XRP will someone need to retire? That's always a really good question, right? It all depends. Like, what happens to XRP, right? Does it go on to become, a 4-digit or 5-digit asset, right? Does Ripple, the company, just go away, poof, and everything ends? It's hard to say. In my personal belief, I think XRP definitely can reach 4 to 5 digits. That's what I believe in my heart. I'm not a financial advisor. I think that people underestimate how much money is going to come into the market through tokenization over the next 10 years. I do think it's going to take some time, though. Like, I don't think this is like a next year type of situation. I think this is you need to look out the next decade situation personally, right? And that's shifted too in my mind. I just think people are expecting too much too quickly. And when that happens, often people are let down. So, where do you live, right? If you live in Hawaii or California, obviously, or New York, that would be much more expensive than if you lived in like Bangkok. So, it's all depending on your lifestyle, and it's all depending on what happens with XRP. So very difficult for me to give you a number, but I hope that information helps you better understand what you need to be looking at. All right, guys, listen, anybody that brings up XCN in the chat, if I don't know you as a Kryptonaires member, I'm just going to ban you. All right. All right. I've said it. Long timeouts. Anyone mentioning XCN? Let's see. Justin says thoughts on Proton. Okay, let's look at that, Justin. How you doing, Justin? Good to see you, bud. Is this something that I can actually look at on freaking, what's it called? XPR. Has been rebranded to XPR. Read announcement. Is this it, Justin? Is this the token you're asking me about? Oh, wait. Sorry, I'm not sharing that screen. Oh, stop sharing. Hold on. Exit that. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me add this. I do apologize. I forgot. Share screen. Is this it, Justin? Is this what you want me to look at? Just want to make sure. Yes. Okay. Let me get into this. Don't do anything to Steve. Obviously, Ariana. I think you know Steve. He's good. XPR wrapped ETH. So where do I find that XPR wrapped ETH? Is this? I mean, that's the pair, right? XPR. X is it? No, XPR. XPR, right? XPR. Justin, can you send me a link on? This is it right here. XPR wrapped ETH. Boom. Right? Is this what you're asking about, Justin? This. Let me see. Where's Justin at? Is this what you want, Justin? Curtis, that is great information. Please take a look at what Curtis just said. JP Morgan Coin changed the name from Onyx to Connexus. So make sure, yeah, the XEN you're thinking is probably a scam. It is a scam. Justin says bingo. All right, Justin, we're there, buddy. Let's take a look at this for you, my friend. Anything for you, Justin. All right. Damn, we have no links, man. Hold on. I gotta take this to what's it called? Low volume, bro. Volume very low. I mean, you had this big influx and then you had to sell. You got some support down here at 3.9. Look how many times. Look at this. 1, 2, about 3, 4. I mean, this is definitely support right here. I don't know. This could go up or this could go down at this point, man. Let's take a look at the contract address on Twitter. Let's see. Most people don't search posts with the contract address, but let's just take a look at what's being said. Toker analyzer. Let's see. Oh, I was doing analytics. I was like, oh shit, I clicked on something I wasn't supposed to. All right, here, let's see. So here is it AF? Let me see. Is it AF? It is AF. Cool. Hold on. Okay. It looks like there's a lot of new wallets that was created back in January, right? That was on the rise. Not as much right now. Number of new wallets against token price. I mean, it has been building though. I mean, this is a nice build. New wallets and accumulation. Damn, there's some wallets have 44, 40 million. Look at this. Lot of whales here. Some of this is Uniswap contracts. Some of this is just actual people though. Let's take a look here a little bit deeper. I should be able to search XPR on Twitter and get some information. XPR. Let's do that. Twitter. Share XPR. All right. Yeah, see, a lot of people, they're getting confused with XRP. So hard to search certain things on Twitter, especially when they have the same freaking names. XPR network is the only purple coin that really matters. XPR target has hit triangular upper boundary. A breakout here may spark a rally. This was yesterday. It's a 1 minute and 47 video of a freaking clock or the sand clock. I don't understand.
In today's video, I will take you through 3 things that need to happen in order for XPR to absolutely skyrocket in its value.
Yikes. Okay, Justin, I'm going to leave you with this, brother. Good luck. I don't know, man. You know, my question to you is this. Okay. This is at 106 million market cap. All right. You know, where do you see it going? Like if you in your soul, in your heart, think that this is something that's going to move, man, like, you know, trust yourself. Oh, damn. TIFF is up 500K. Look at that. Oh, shit. Oh, I don't like that. This is the freaking scammy shit. Oh, man. I hate when they do this. They're trying to just increase the transactions. But anyways, I bought this at like 100K. I'm up pretty decently on this. I think this will break 1 million, you know. If you're not familiar with what this is, let me show you this. I like, you know, I like to gamble on some of this stuff. I think I put in like $2,000. It's worth like 8 right now. This is a few days. But I just think this is interesting, right? A lot of people, I see some people posting about it. It has a 10% tax and it sends you rewards. Anyways, here's a comparison. I thought this was interesting, right? Obviously, most of these tokens don't make it, right? But some of them get by. Here is a token called IMG, has a volume of $165 million, and here are some of the payouts in the last 3 months for the reflections, which is pretty insane. And then of course here you have TIFF volume of 573,000, and not very much made, but they actually have a calculator on their website too, like how much you could make. I don't know. I just put a few $1,000 in just to have some fun on this one, but we'll see what happens, man. I'd be really happy if this thing goes $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. I'd be real happy. Justin, thanks for being here, man. I always appreciate you being here, dude. Lloyd says it's a good investment. I don't know who Lloyd is, but I like his picture. All right, let's see what other questions you guys here. Man, people really like to skate against the edge, like there's a cliff and people are just like, I'm going to skate right to that cliff and hopefully I don't go over. Hopefully not banned, but I finally DCA'd out of XCN. Well, that's good. Good for you. But did you buy the right one or did you buy the scam one, right? And usually if you buy the scam one, you can't sell. Oh, there you go. Steve DM'd you the right link for thanks, Steve. I appreciate that, man. That's a huge help, Steve. I'm nobody special. Love your content, dude. Hey, you are special to me because you're here. So thank you, man. Jake Claver reckons 4 digits in 2025 for XRP. No. Let me see. Let me message him. Did he say that? Hold on. Let me get Jake Claver on the phone here. Actually, let me do I have his phone number? Hold on. I can't remember if I talked to Jake on the phone before. Yes, I do. Hold on. All right. Hold on. Jake and Max Avery. Hold on. Jake, do you have a price? Do you have a price prediction for XRP in 2025 of 4 digits? I'm asking. That sounds like some crazy shit from Jake Claver. 4 digits in this year? I mean, fuck. That would be really great for my job here. Like I'd have a whole lot of happy people watching my content daily. I could tell you. Oh man. Any thoughts on reserve rights? So Andrew, I haven't kept up with reserve rights. What I will say though, what I will say about tokens from the last bull market are, go in to the Discord, go into the Telegram, see who's still there. See if it still has a good community that's rallying behind it. Because no matter what the token is, if it doesn't have a good community behind it, it's not going to go anywhere. So, I can't really say yes or no, or I just don't know, man. I haven't done the research like you have. I'm sure you can make a really good educated decision, but just keep that in mind. Search the Twitter, search all of these different factors. Make sure a lot of really good momentum is happening. A lot of really good updates are coming, and that should give you a good sign of what to do. Okay. Hope that helps you, man. Yeah. Japan's been selling Japanese US treasuries, right? Now China's selling US treasuries. That's what's making the rate rise. So I don't know, man. Like, I'd like to be able to go through like a month of my life without having something like shocking happen, at the economy. I don't know, like my dad's in a bad mood, my mom doesn't invest in too much stock, so she's kind of a happy-go-lucky lady, but I don't know, man. I know a lot of people are upset. XRP is looking to burn one half of this. No, it's not true. Not true. First of all, Ripple only has 37 billion XRP. The rest is out in the wild. You would actually need regular people like me and you to burn our XRP, and I don't know anybody that would do that. Like burn money. Who does that? I mean, maybe some, in real life streamers to get views or something, but no, that's fake. That's fake news. Do you believe in the flip the switch theory? Pepe, that's a good question. I believe that there will come a point where it's either the old system or the new system, right? Pick. Right? What are you going to use? Because like it doesn't make sense for me to see like a bank starting to use blockchain for payments, and then they're like, you know what? For this payment, let's just go with the old system. We'll pay 90% more. It'll take a few more days, but you know what? At least you're supporting the legacy system. I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it, even if they made Swift GPI instant, they would still be battling the how much it costs to move that money. Some places that you send money could cost you 15, 20%. Imagine that. You send $10,000 to a family member in need in a country that maybe money's hard to get into that country, and they charge you 20%, which is $2,000. Is that the future for us? I don't know. I did some numbers on the FX market. The FX market, 7.5 trillion a day, about a million transactions. They do they do 7.5 million transactions of about $1 million on average. Obviously, some are larger, some are smaller. And usually the fees on that are anywhere from 1% to 4%. And you're looking at $50-100 billion a day in fees. If you used XRP, you could save trillions with a T, trillions with the T a year. So it's hard for me to imagine that I think banks are no, and now they're like, you know what, let's get our shit together. This is happening. Regulation is coming to the US. We need to get serious about this because listen, banks are going to be competing, right? They're always competing with each other for customers, for money, for whatever it is, right? Whatever banks are interested in. I don't know. I've never been in a boardroom and listened to what go have good customer service. I just don't know what they're saying, right? So will there be a moment where it's just like one day we wake up and we're on the new system? Could happen. Like you see Scott Bessent, the Treasurer of the United States, you see Trump talking about a new system, and you start to wonder, like, okay, you have Fed now. That is an instant system, right? Are you going to do now like full on system, like blockchain system? It's hard to imagine. Like you already have this system that was built for like the last 6 to 10 years of research. They just put it together. They're just onboarding customers into it. I don't know. Like, why wouldn't you just use that system? It's hard for me to kind of, I don't know what these guys are going to do. I don't even think they know what they're going to do. That's the hard part. So to try to guess how, which way Trump is going to go on something, it's impossible. Impossible. Now, if Ripple gave Trump like $50 million in XRP and said, hey, but like that would be some shady shit. But, what are we talking about here? I think, Trump's first term, he has a hotel in Washington. And if you remember, anybody that wanted to come to America to deal with Trump made him stay in his hotel. Right. And some countries had rooms in the hotel that they just paid, right? So he's a transactional president. That's who he is. So will there be a transaction to what's it called? I think like Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, I think those people are too I think they're too honest to have something like that. Ethereum, those people are shady as hell. I've seen a lot of really, really not so good stuff from like the Ethereum Foundation. So it's your guess as good as mine. Anyway, do you think Bitcoin will disappear? Hey, Michael, great question. Bitcoin is actually one word, just so you know, in the future, my friend. It might be autocorrect, but all good. Disappear? I don't know. It's hard, man. I'll tell you this. If the Satoshi Nakamoto wallet gets unlocked and if like one Bitcoin is moved from that wallet, panic, bro. Panic. You've never seen panic that bad, right? Person has what, like $60 billion or something, or even is it $80 billion worth of Bitcoin now? That, I mean, who knows? Who knows who controls that, right? Sensei, are you on the top 5 in the rich list for XRP? How much is top 5? 50,000? I don't know. We'll see. You guys are fun. Last thing I want to do is get out here on stream and say, you know, I got this much, I got this much. Next thing I'll do is I'll have somebody armed at my door. Give me your wallet. It's not here. Oh man, it could be bad. Let's see here. You think HSBC will push the price this year? I don't know what HSBC is going to do. I mean, they're the third largest, maybe the second largest. I know it's JP Morgan moves 10 trillion a day. I can't remember how much Citibank and HSBC move, but it's a lot. And you know, HSBC has been working with Ripple for quite a long time. Really impossible to know what they're going to do, right? Unless we're like a fly on the boardroom wall. But the technology is here. You know, it is being adopted. It is being regulated. So it's like the next move is going to be for these banks. But remember, we don't have stablecoin regulation yet. It's coming. We don't have digital asset regulation yet. It's coming. You know, but it could come at the end of the year. You still might have to wait a year or two for that regulation to kick in. And, you know, will banks touch crypto before that regulation happens? You know, they got an approval from the FDIC. They got approval from the OCC. They got approval from the Fed, right? Yeah, Jerome Powell, head of the Fed, he was out here, I think, a few weeks ago saying that, you know, banks can use crypto in their infrastructure. So, you know, you got a green light from everybody. I just don't know what's the next push, man. Anytime, Michael. Thanks for being here, man. Hope that was helpful. Bro, I cannot wait either. Like, I am on the edge of my seat waiting for that. Hold on, you know, my AC is stuck on like 60. Let me just go turn the AC down. I'll be right back, all right? Not yet, Luna. Not yet. Not yet. Go back. This hurts. Come on. Almost done. Almost done. Lay down. Luna's so cute. Every time I get up, she's like, let's go. We're going out. All right. What's the best price you'd pay for XRP before you stop buying? I mean, you know, I'm a buyer right now, Daniel, you know. Hard to say, man. Like, I think personally that the market is still going to move in cycles for now. You know, I think there's a lot of people that believe that, you know, cycles will be broken. I just don't think it's in 2025. You know, I think XRP will top out this year and will probably head back down. You know, where will it top out? How much ETF will come in? What adoption will look like? What Ripple's acquisition of Hidden Road will help? It's really hard to gauge that. I went over some numbers the other day. Let me see if I can find that information for you just so I can get better help you understand this. Hold on. Twitter. God, I can't remember this guy's name. Crippen Ritter. Is that it? No. Crip? Can I find it with Crip? Yes, here it is. Oh, he follows me. That's super helpful. What did he put out? He put out some good information the other day. Let me see if I can find it here. Is this it? I think this is it. No, this is a different one. Oh, here we go. Here it is. Okay. So you're talking about here. Let me go up so we can better understand this. I don't know if you've watched my video. You've seen this. Here you go. They clear 10 billion a day. They clear 3.65 trillion a year. 50 million transactions as the highest in 24-hour settlements, right? He goes over through some information here. David Schwartz posted this information. That's how we know and we have it. And then you also have some information here about how this will affect the XRP ledger. So you have total value locked increased by 2030, 24,900%. And then you have total value locked by 2033, 51,823%. And then you also have Hidden Road plus XRPL, then, daily volume increase of 76,923%. And then the TPS 2,315%. This is just one of the partnerships, right? We don't know what Ripple's going to do next, but can you imagine if they get like 2, 3, or 4 of these and they just start adding all of this volume and transactions to the XRP ledger? It could be really impactful for the rest of our lives, and that's what I think a lot of us are hoping for. I think people. How many people are in Cryptonaires? A few hundred. Do you think, as per Europe, banks will reach 10K? Omer, are you asking about XRP and European banks? Is that what you're asking about? I need a little more context, my man. Did I get wealthy from a normal job or trading crypto? Crypto. 2021 tax year, I think it was like $2.8 million. I've never made over 250 grand in a year before that, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was getting really lucky, to be honest with you. I had a lot of really good people around me, really smart people. I was learning, they were learning, we were growing together, and we had just had a lot of unique opportunities. I think people need to be careful with the current market that we have right now. I mean, history tells us that usually during this time the market's right about to take off, but you also have all of this economic stuff that's happening at the same time. It's really difficult to judge how much of that economic stuff is going to impact the crypto market and how fast. Okay, obviously, if monetary easing, if quantitative easing (QE) comes back, which it looks like it has been, the money supply has been rising up since I think they're printing money again. The goal is to make money cheaper. Get down to 1%, 2% again. Obviously, it'll be inflationary, and everything with the tariffs is inflationary. So, very hard to say. Because, if people don't have enough money to pay their bills or pay these additional prices, right? Or if they get laid off, because this is what a lot of people don't think about. Okay, you work for a factory, and your factory makes whatever, and those parts are shipped, Mexico or Canada, or sometimes they go back and forth. I mean, every time it goes back and forth, you're paying 10%, 10%, 10%. Like sooner or later, or the car that you want that's 50 grand will be, 60, 65, be priced out. If you want like a really nice sports car, $100,000 sports car, it might cost you 125,000. Like there's just certain things that are going to lead to, like, if you have a factory that makes cars, right? You rely on another factory that makes parts that goes into the cars, right? Some of them make wheels, some of them make tires, some of them make windshield wipers and windshield and a windshield and doors and in a frame. You got to understand that all of these different things might come from different places. And if you have all of these different tariffs on what you're trying to do, you will sell less. And if you sell less, you will make less, right? You'll create less of whatever that is that you're selling. If you create less and you're selling less, you're going to need less people to work, right? Because you're not doing the same volume that you used to. So you start to lay off people, one by one, thousand by thousand. You're already seeing layoffs in America, and you're already seeing farmers in a lot of trouble in Middle America. And America is a net exporter of food, and there's going to be a lot of countries that don't want to buy our food anymore, right? Or soybeans or whatever it is. We get potash from Canada, and that's really important to growing a lot of our crops. And that's going to be, they're going to price the farmers out. And then when you price the farmers out, you're going to have a problem with getting food in the grocery stores. So I think that, there's a very complex thing that goes into all this. And it's extremely difficult to say what's going to happen over the next 3 to 6 months. Like if Trump wakes up tomorrow and says, you know what, this trade war was crazy, we got some renegotiations, some good deals. Let's go back to free trade agreement with at least with Canada and Mexico. Like that is minimum what people would need, because you have to understand that countries that are looking to invest in the United States, right? If the goal is to bring manufacturing back to the US, right? That is what I've heard. One of the goals are to bring manufacturing back. Who wants to work manufacturing, $1, $2 products? Like, I don't know anybody that wants to work in a factory for 12 hours, right? My wife used to work at Tesla and they had 12-hour shifts. She hated it. So like, you could bring this manufacturing back to the United States. It's going to cost a lot more. Like the same product you're making in the United States, you're going to pay 3, 4, 5 times the value than you would in Mexico because labor costs, right? Buy an American product that is 50, 100, 150% more expensive than a product from somewhere else. I don't know. It's hard to imagine what people are going to do, but I can tell you that people are going to have less money. And if you have less money, you don't put the money you do have in speculative assets. Crypto is speculative. All right. Hope that helps. Oh, I appreciate you. New to crypto and your crypto sensei. Thank you for your education and support. Appreciate you, man. I hope you're learning a lot. I heard a fart. Not me, brother. Not me. Need to check your pants if that's what you heard, my friend. Love the content. I'm invested in XRP. Do you have any videos that touch on if we also need RLUSD? So Darren, great question. Thank you for being here, man. RLUSD is just a stable coin. So, if you hold stable coins like USDT or USDC, and instead you want to hold RLUSD, you can do that, but it's not going to increase in price, right? It's supposed to be 1-for-1 stable. So, the only reason you would probably go into RLUSD as a stable coin is if you're sitting on the sidelines in stables and you want to be in RLUSD, or if you sell out of the market and you want to put all of your money into a stable coin, you could do RLUSD. All right. Hope that helps you, brother. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's a needle to thread, right? If one thing happens, doesn't go the way that you want it to, it's crazy, man. I just don't think we've ever been at this point. This is a scary point. And it's like, it's brought on by one person, which is crazy, right? Like COVID, there's really not a lot we could do about that because China didn't really lock up their, they just let it spread. And that was a global pandemic. I mean, this could be worse than that. It was caused by one person. It's just insane. I don't know, man. I just get a little fired up when I read all this stuff. Let's see here. Justin wants chart small sensei big screen. I don't know what you're saying, my dude. HSBC is shutting down on April 20th to implement faster payment system. Oh, that's juicy. I think I've heard something about that. Is that the ISO switch? Are they switching to ISO messaging? Let's take a look, man. Let's take a look. HSBC to shut down April 20th for updates. Let's see if we can find it. Share tab instead. Let me make sure I'm streaming. Let me put this up. Let me put this up. All right, here. Oh, here you go. HSBC is not shutting down on April 20th for updates. Instead, HSBC announced in April 2023 that it would be closed to 104 branches in the UK. That's really not helpful. April 20th, 2025. Let's see here. As of the last update, HSBC has not announced a complete shutdown on April 20, 2025. However, the bank has been undergoing significant restructuring, including the closure of some investment banking units in Europe, the UK, and the US as part of an ongoing effort to rebalance costs and shift focus to Asia. I don't know. Do you have like an article that talks about that? Oh, I mean, they're talking about closing branches. I don't know. Doesn't seem good. I mean, that's also a thing too. Banks are in trouble. Banks are way upside down. Free speech says hedge fund manager says buying XRP at $1,000 is a good investment. Let's get to $1,000 before we can buy it, right? Kim, not really. No, I don't know anybody that's investing in Pepe right now. I mean, I think there's a lot of good meme coins that are community driven. I think a lot of people like Pepe and Shib. Those are 2021 cycle coins. I don't know if maybe there's a better option in 2025, but definitely good luck with that, man. Or woman, sorry, Kim. Sensei, do you know withdrawal limits for Coinbase? So I do. My withdrawal limit for Coinbase is 50 grand, but I can request a higher one. You got to request it, I think. Of course, Daniel. Good luck, man. Let me see here. I'm scrolling down here. Get that money, Justin. I hold Pepe. Like Steve holds Pepe. Maybe he can answer your question. Hey, I don't disagree with this, man. I don't disagree with this at all. Don't disagree with that. Weekend mega pump. I like your energy. I hope so. Justin says, Crypto Sensei, thank you, my friend. You rock. Glad to see that you're doing well after surgery. I gotta go make some more money for XRP. Love you, Justin. Good luck, man. Have a good daytime at your job, man. Damn, 50K is all that I won't be able to get my investment back without consent. What? You can sell your thing anytime, dude. Let's see. How do you reduce tax and crypto profits you make? Wow, I am not a tax expert, but I had a tax expert on the channel. I interviewed him. God, what is this? 2-3 months ago? Let me see if I can find that for you. Let me see. YouTube. I have to go to YouTube. Oh, let's see if we can find this together, huh? All right, view your channel live. We're about to hit 85,000. Oh, snap. Look at that. Yes. 100,000. Here we come. All right. Get serious, Robert. Get serious. Pump.science interview. Oh, God. I don't know. It's one of these. I can't remember. Market update. Hold on. Let me see. Glyph. This is it. Found it. All right. I knew I'd find it. All right, here. This is watch that. And if you're interested, you can contact Ernest Lee if you're in the US, or if you need help and you're in another country. I think he knows a lot of people. Ernest, that was a great interview. He's a really smart guy. If there's anybody that can help you about that question, it's him. He's a tax expert. So I'd reach out to him. If you need a connection to him, reach out to me on like Twitter or Discord's actually better if you can, but I will see what I can about getting you his information. All right. Red Panda's here. What's up, Red Panda? Good to see you. Have nothing in your name, have a trust. That's some good advice, Red Panda. That's some good advice, man. $4.99 from Jose. What's up, Jose? Hope you're recovering from your procedure. My wife and I love your videos. Hello from Colorado Springs. Man, Jose, my heart is filled with joy. You know what is kind of fun? I've met a few people in real life that are kind of fans of the channel. And the last person I met, his name is Brandon, really cool guy. You know, he just had a birthday, I think like a week or two ago. And we went to lunch, and him and his wife watch my videos. And the first person I met, Clayton, he's really cool guy from Canada. I went to lunch with him and his wife, and then we went to dinner with my wife and then his wife too, and me and him, and they watch my videos. So it's nice to know that I'm bringing you guys together or whatever it is. So thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Luna will be very happy. It's really an honor, man. Thank you. Ernest Lee is also a blackjack player. Yeah, he was really interesting, right? He was a billiards guy. He was a blackjack player. Man, he was really, really fun to interview. Like, I've interviewed some snorefests and I've really interviewed some interesting people. He would be on the interesting people list for sure. He knew so much about so many things. That was a lot of fun, man. Absolutely. I will hook you up. I'll hook you up with Ernest. He's a good guy. Oh, you know what? Let's take a look. I think he has a website. You can actually hold up here. Yeah, here it is.
About the services that we are.
Okay, decrypted tax decrypted tax. Let's see if this is it. Yes, look at that. I'm a gangster. Okay, hold on. Is this it? Yeah, here we go. So you can actually sign in and you can actually book a free call. You can book a free call right here. And you just go in here and you fill out this book with Ernest. If you're interested here, I'll give this to you right now. I'll give you the website and I'll give you the book a free call. There you go, brother. I didn't even have to do anything. I found it all for you just like that. Here's the website. Done. Taxes are very important, guys. Some people care, some people don't care. I gotta care. I can't be out here doing all of this stuff, talking like a public figure and then not pay my taxes. I'm gonna be screwed hard. I don't want to be like Barry Bonds. What was it? It's Wesley Snipes. Didn't he go to jail for like 5 years or something? Shoot, crazy stuff, man. I respect your honor's opinion about the impact of Donald's tariffs to the world. I follow you all the time. George, thank you. I appreciate it. It's not a hate of the guy. It's just like, I wonder if there's ways that we could accomplish what we're trying to accomplish without like, just totally taking the economy to the edge. That's just, there was just a lot of sadness. You remember like during, C word, everyone was at home, couldn't see your friends, couldn't see your family. Everybody was kind of, didn't have a lot of money. You needed help from the government. I just don't think people want to be back in that same situation where they're looking for a handout. I think people have a lot of respect and they're hardworking and they just want to be able to do their jobs and love their family and do what makes them happy and not have to worry about their retirement disappearing, right? Like people work 10, 20, 30, 40 years and they put all this money in the stock market and, takes 10, 15%. The good news is that doesn't matter if it's, Black Monday or whatever it is, stock markets recover, right? And it's just how much pain will we endure before it recovers. So, I asked my dad, before, like as Trump came into office and I was noticing the market slip and I was listening to, his plans about tariffs. I was like, Dad, now's the time, dude. If you're going to get out of the stock market, now's the time. Cause it was at the all-time high. I was like, are you going to take profit or are you going to do anything? And he's like, you know what? Been through this before, what am I going to sell and pay tax on it and then buy it back? And I said, you know what? That makes sense, right? That makes total sense. So, some people are just going to be like that. They're just going to hold on, wait for things to correct itself, whether it takes a year or 3 or 5, we don't know. We just hope that it all works out, right? We hope that the people that the country elected, do what they're supposed to. That's all we hope for. And if they don't, they'll be held accountable, right? Like, I think there was a lot of fails from the last administration, and I think people were kind of frustrated and they wanted to take some power back. And I think a lot of people think that they did take some power back. It's just what will that look like for their, their income and stuff. So anyway, we'll switch it up, man. Let's see here. Do you have any advice to learn on how to trade crypto and make kind of gains you have? Can you teach? So Haptic, we actually have, I have a community called Cryptonaires. And this is where like I'm posting information and updates. We just brought on a new team member that's pretty freaking fire. Let me go ahead and show you some stuff here. Actually this was done by my team when I was off, which was really cool. let me bring this up here, is let me see here, live trades. Let's see here, trade setups. So we have no, not trade setups. This person here, Saint, he's putting in different things, and also long-term trades here. Trades. We have a few different trades being put in here by the team, and then some other stuff here. So there's people always talking about different. Oh, I wasn't even showing it. Shit, I'm sorry. We have some trade setups here that Zaint is starting to put in here. Different trades that the team is putting in here. We have a chat that everybody talks into. The members. We're talking about tariffs. We're talking about the impact. Some people are bringing up projects. It just depends if you want to be a part of the community. But we'd love to have you. WAP.com/Kryptonaires. I think they're redoing some of the stuff. Let me see here. I like this. What's new? This is pretty with the balloons. Anyways, if you're interested in taking a look, I think we have a free trial too right now. So I'll leave that for you if you're interested in coming and hanging out with us and learning with us, because we actually have a lot of fun. Absolutely. All right, let's see here. Michael Gallo Jr. That is a strong name. I like that. Once the lawsuit is officially settled, do you think banks will start purchasing XRP? That's a great question, Michael. So here's what I think about that. SBI, they are an early investor in Ripple and XRP, and their XRP is worth more money than their entire freaking bank, right? Like all of their subsidiaries, all of their assets, they have more money in XRP than all that. So one does start to wonder, I think banks understand that certain technology is going to be widely adopted. And I think as soon as banks are able and ready to accept that and start to understand that, hey, we need to have some type of position in this, whether that's through direct purchasing of assets or whether that's through ETFs. I do, how I see this all working with banks is certain banks will want to custody their own crypto assets, but that also comes with risk. If you remember our conversation from like 20 minutes ago, when we were talking about, stable coins and stuff like that, banks want to de-risk. They don't want to probably hold these assets, but they're probably going to want to offer some custody solutions, right? You have your mortgage with us, you have your student loans with us, whatever it is, you've been at your bank for a long time, you trust your bank. Most people trust their bank. And your bank will say, hey, we have, we can store your Bitcoin, we can store your XRP, we'll charge you, $3 or $4 a month for that or something like that. And they'll go to like Ripple or Fireblocks or another custody provider, and they will get that infrastructure so they can offer crypto to their custody to their customers. Now, when they do that, I think it opens the door for banks to purchase some crypto, right? And, we start to understand like what cryptos will those be, right? They've already spent $110 billion on Bitcoin through the ETF. Are they going to, buy Ethereum or XRP or these assets? It does feel that I think that they will, but I don't have a crystal ball. I cannot tell you for a fact if that's going to happen. I believe it will. I just don't know when. What's up with all these glitches? I know it's crazy. Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't pay attention enough to other ecosystems, but I haven't seen like Ethereum glitching or Bitcoin glitching or anything else glitching. It's always XRP. So I don't know, man. It's a conspiracy. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Mike, the situation for Jersey Shore went to prison for that. Pay your taxes, guys. Yeah, the situation. I watched Jersey Shore. I think there's a lot of, if you're, my age, you probably watched Jersey Shore, a bit of it. At least you know of it. Buy the dip. Hey, a lot of people think the market's right about to like take off. I think a lot of this economic stuff will hit, 3 to 6 months down the line. I don't think you're going to start feeling it, but you're going to really feel it in 3 to 6 months. It's hard, right? Trump paused the tariffs on a lot of countries, but that's just a pause, right? Like in 90 days, he could say, coming back 50%, 100%, You're not ever gonna buy toilet paper again. A lot of good toilet paper comes from Canada. Fuck. I've been to Costco like the last, I don't know, 6 weeks. I didn't go last week because I was in bed. Obviously, I couldn't really move, but they never have Charmin. It's always a battle with my wife. My wife's like, I'm okay with Costco, and I'm like, it's $6 more for Charmin. Come on, we're okay. We have the $6, right? Anyways, you don't lose unless you sell. Man, that is some interesting advice. Yeah. Oh, look at this. I'm Screw. What's up, I'm Screw? True. They don't want XRP to boom because they know it's going to surpass and replace Bitcoin, and they need Bitcoin to launder money with. Ooh, that's a spicy opinion, man. Well, first of all, let me say thank you so much for the $5. My dog will be over the moon. Any donations to the channel at the end of the month we take and we spend on Lunar. So she's going to be really happy. I appreciate you for doing that. To answer your question here is XRP is not here to replace Bitcoin, right? XRP was created because they saw flaws in Bitcoin, and we understand Bitcoin to be a store of value. I think when you listen to Larry Fink or any of these, big figures, in the media or whatever it is, or these banking giant people, they understand that it's a store of value, and they understand that people don't trust governments. They don't trust government money, and if you can print money out of thin air, my dollar or whatever the currency is just going to lose value. So, Bitcoin is like gold. I think gold is more stable. Obviously, you're going to have more swings with Bitcoin because it is a virtual currency. But at the end of the day, it's just a store of value, right? You can't, it doesn't make sense to start tokenizing value on Bitcoin. It's too slow. It's going to be very expensive. And at that point, just use the old system, right? So, I think banks understand that Bitcoin is not the answer to the financial system's issues and woes. I just don't know if like Trump and Scott Bessett and those people, I don't know if they understand that, because I know they're like, I think Scott Bessett and then the crypto czar David Sachs, they are very Bitcoin friendly. And I don't know what type of impact that will have on the president and what they will say to him. But, if you have people like Brad Garlinghouse in the room, that would be really good. The US government's already worked with Ripple for like a decade, since 2015. So, why wouldn't you want to use an American company that developed, well, Ryan Fugger actually developed it. We're not going to get into all that stuff. Anyways, we'll see. Thank you for the $5. I really do appreciate you. Love your name. I'm Screw. Yeah, love you too. Thank you, Ariana. And guys, listen, we've been going 2 hours. Ariana's been keeping the chat safe, so make sure to show her some love anytime that you see her in the chat. All right, I can't do this without her. Let's see here. Did Luna visit you in the hospital? Okay, so actually, no. I was able to leave the same day, so I got there at like 6 a.m. And they, they hook you up to everything. The doctor comes, talks to you, marks where you're going to have surgery. The, person that's doing the anesthesia comes out, marks where you're going to have surgery, and they, everyone's talking. And then they push me into the room and literally don't even tell me that the medicine's going into my arm. But like, I've been here before. I know what, I'm like, oh shit, my arm's burning. I know what's about to happen. And then I'm out. I wake up, they probably knocked me out about like 8 a.m. I wake up about 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m., already done. And, they threw me in a wheelchair, took me downstairs. I almost fell out of the wheelchair. Couldn't stand up because my leg was partly numb. And I got home, and it was very difficult to like walk or do anything. I'm supposed to be on crutches for 3 weeks, but I'm kind of breaking that a little bit. So I need to start physical therapy soon too. But it's been a journey, but at least it's done. And it was nice. I had my wife here, for like 4 days looking out for me. Man, like anything I needed, babe, I'm hungry. Lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner, delivered. I need my computer, delivered. Oh, I was like, how much do you make at your job? Could I just pay you to come back and do this for me to full time? It was good, man. It was a lot of fun. We caught up on some shows. It was, it needed to be done. It's done. It's in my past. I'm thankful to be around it. So thank you. Love Jersey Shore. Damn, you brought back something good. Kim's all about it. Oh, I love that, Kim. How patient do we need to be? If we're talking about like the macro, like long term, you need to be patient. I think you're going to see some crazy shit over the next few months, though. I mean, if you look back, previous cycles, 2016, 2020, right now is about when you start to get some of this movement. It's very difficult to say what's going to happen with all this economic stuff, though. Like that really, it really puts some poop in the punch bowl, to be honest with you. So, just got to hope for the best, but the market you should see Bitcoin go back over 100,000, maybe 150. Some people believe 200, 250. We'll see. And then it's supposed to rain. But understand, like, I think people get it mixed up when it comes to the bull market, that they think like the market takes off and it's up for like 6-12 months. It really kind of shoots up, in a week, 2 weeks, sometimes depending on the crypto, maybe it's a little longer, and then it starts to slide down. So, when you start to see money going into Ethereum from Bitcoin, and then you start to see money going into alts, that's usually when meme coins start to explode too, because people are taking profit and putting it into meme coins. And then that's where you need to be looking for the exits. Yeah, learned that the hard way. My first cycle, I didn't think it was going to end. And it ended. And it ended hard. And it was a learning experience, let me tell you. Let's see here. Gold's better than Bitcoin. I agree with that. Oh God. Is Ricardo a bot? Got the same XCN stuff. Sensei, what's up, David? Sensei, is XRP in danger with China's payment system? You're funny. No, I'm just kidding, David. I apologize. I've been streaming for 2 hours. I'm a little. So you talking about BRICS? Are you talking about BRICS' new payment system? Is that what you're talking about? Because China has a CBDC, but other than BRICS Pay, I don't know what China's payment system is. Are you talking about mBridge? You gotta give me some more context on which system you're talking about, because there's the BRICS Pay, and then there's mBridge, and there's everything else. So let me know. I'm a bot. It's good to know, Richard. Richard, you do realize that XCN, like there's a scam coin that's going up right now, that JP Morgan changed the name of the asset, and it's not XCN anymore. So whatever you're buying, probably a scam, dog. Good luck, though. I wish you the best. CIPS is a payment system developed by China Central Bank, the People's Bank of China, to facilitate cross-border renminbi payments and trade settlements. Well, I don't assume that the U.S. and China's trade system is using XRP, right? And if not, which it's not, I've never heard anything about that. How I don't understand the impact of why you think that XRP would be done if China is not going to use XRP. Like, XRP is not really well known in China. You do have Thunes, Thunes, THUNES. I believe it's Thunes that is connected into WeChat. And it's connected, like People's Bank of China and all these different banks can use XRP through that. But as far as like XRP in that country, I just don't know. Just don't know, my man. Do I smoke? Who are we talking about? Do I smoke cigarettes? Do I sound like I do? Used to. Well, I didn't cigarettes. I hated cigarettes. Oh, damn. Actually, I have to retract that. When I was 18, I was making a lot of really bad decisions. And I don't know. I loved a menthol cigarette back then. But then I kind of, got older and I was like, cigarettes are smelly. I can never get the, smell off my hands. I hated that. And so I vaped for a while. Now I don't do it anymore. Sabrina is not a what's it called? So don't do anything to her. The XCN that people are talking about is probably a scam. you gotta make sure that you are in the right asset. Like you have to make sure you're in, like, if you think you're buying JP Morgan's token, I think people think that's what they're buying, but they're really buying is a scam. Yeah, you need to be careful, man. Like honestly, I've seen a lot of people saying complete scam, rug. I think we looked at the volume on it, or how much money is it. Like there was one that had like 500 million, but only had like 1.9 million in liquidity or something. There's some very strange things happening with those tokens. I just be very careful, guys. Will XRP hit $50 in a few months? Some people believe so. I hope so. I couldn't tell you for sure. I wish I had a crystal ball, man. I could charge so much money. I'd have it like right here where the seal is. I'd be like, hold on, let me look into the future, and then I could, boom, got you. All right, we are passing the 2-hour mark, guys. Let's get some last minute questions that I will answer for you, and then I need to give myself and Ariana and other mods in the chat a rest here. Let's see here. Red Panda. Oh, hey, it would be nice if there was a settlement with Ripple and the XRP holders. For what though? For what? Settlement for what? Red Panda. For what happened with the SEC? I need some more context, my dog. Ricardo, you didn't prove you're not a bot. Here's Curtis. You're funny, man. I like you, Curtis. XRP long-term generational wealth in the works. I like that, Ricardo. I used to have a good friend named Ricardo. He's actually, cool guy. His family used to own this taqueria in Los Gatos. No, it was Los Altos in California. Los Altos is kind of like bougie, a lot of rich people, a lot of nice houses. And, oh, dude, they made some of the best burrito, like Mexican food. Oh, dude, can't even deal with it, man. Okay, so you're talking about the Ripple SEC case. So really, the question that you wanted to ask is, will the SEC, get in any trouble for the lawsuit and the losses that we incurred? I think that's what you're asking. Is that what you're asking? Riverside, California. Is that where you're from, Ricardo? Nice, man. Ariana, hey, get some rest. Thank you so much. I saw your message on Discord. I'll respond to you after, okay? Appreciate you. Yes. Okay, so listen, I don't think the government's ever going to admit that they acted unlawfully. Let me remind you that the Ripple case started not under the Biden administration, started under the first Trump administration. And if you think Trump or anybody in his orbit is going to say, hey, go investigate if our former SEC head or our former, division head, had anything to do with this, I just don't see it happening, man. Like they are going to lock up confidential that bitch and nobody's going to see the light of day on that stuff. That's what I believe. I could be wrong, but I don't think the US government's going to give us anything. And I don't think there's anything that we can do about it, to be quite frank with you. I got scammed last week. I lost 1,424 tokens. Man, I hear you. I got scammed a while ago, but I've also sent money accidentally. Like the other day, I was doing 1,500 things at once, and I was trying to move BNB to MEXC. It was only like one BNB. I was trying to move it to Solana so I could buy some more TIFF, and I sent wrapped BNB to MEXC instead of BNB, and it's gone. So I feel you. I lost $600 there. I don't think they can recover it. So sorry to hear that, man. You know what though? You will not make that same mistake again. Sometimes it costs you money. The hardest mistakes sometimes cost you the most. But yeah, no QR code, man. No QR codes, guys. No. All right, guys. Hey, listen, I'm gonna jump. It's been a long stream. I appreciate you. I love you. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. We'll pick this up on Tuesday. I'll have all fresh new information, fresh opinions, and of course, I'll be here to answer your questions. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love and appreciation, and I will see you next time. Aloha. Bye. All right, Luna. We done, Luna. Let's go.